Hey lovelies, if you're returning, as always, welcome back. If you're new, then welcome to the family. Today I'm going to be doing something a little different. I haven't done on the channel before. I'm going to be cooking some pork. This particular piece that I've got is the Crackling Loin joint, and I bought this from Sainsbury's. I usually always buy my pork from Sainsbury's. Sometimes I get the leg joint. It's totally up to you what you want to get. I'm just going to show you how I cook this. I do the leg and the loin joint exactly the same. So yeah, let's get cracking. So over here I've got just an empty bowl to mix my dry seasonings in. I've got a tablespoon and a teaspoon, which you'll need for measurements. I've got a measuring jug here with ginger beer. So there's 600 ml of ginger beer in there. You can use whatever ginger beer you have access to. There's no specific one. The one that I'm going to be using today, just in case it makes a difference, I actually bought from M&S and it's a sugar-free one. Usually I get the, was it Old Jamaican ginger beer? I don't drink ginger beer, guys. The only time I consume it is when it's in pork or it's been mixed in an alcoholic drink. So yeah, let's get started. So I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of just normal table salt. You guys choose whichever salt you like. This is just my guide. Obviously, if you use a different salt, the measurements would be a little bit different than what I've done. I'm going to do a ½ teaspoon of ground black pepper. You can use whatever one you prefer, it's totally up to you. I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of all-purpose seasoning. So that's 1 tablespoon of the all-purpose. I'm going to do a teaspoon of dried jerk seasoning. So that's the Dunn's River one that I use, if you're not familiar with my channel. And I used a heaped teaspoon, by the way. I'm going to go in with a ¼ teaspoon of crushed chilies. They're dried as well, by the way. You use whatever ones you have. If you don't want to use chilies, then that's fine. You don't have to use them. That's just my preference. I like a bit of heat. So these gloves are getting on my nerves. I'm going to do a ¼ teaspoon of paprika. You can use smoked or normal paprika. ¼ teaspoon of ground ginger. I'm using the Tesco one today. You can use whichever ground ginger you can get access to. I'm going to use a teaspoon of mixed herbs. One teaspoon of dried parsley. As you know, on this channel I love my parsley. Like, I literally bought the big old bottle because I use so much parsley and I'm cooking. Don't judge, I just love parsley, sorry. I think it's by far the best. The rest are just trash. So that's 1 teaspoon, 1 heaped teaspoon of dried parsley. Then I'm going to go in with 2 tablespoons of soft brown sugar. Cane sugar, rather. This is the one that I'm using. You don't have to use this specific one. You can use whichever one you want. This one is by Sainsbury's. Whichever supermarket you can get access to. It's literally just dark brown cane sugar. And as you all know, when I'm using soft brown sugar, it is just hassle to measure from here, but I don't want to use it in a container because then it just starts sticking to the side and it just looks horrible. So I'd rather just keep it in its bag and fight with it a little bit. So that's 1. And I'm going to go in with number 2. And whilst we're waiting, this pork is going to take around an hour and 50 minutes to cook. Obviously if you get a smaller one then it will take less time. If you get a bigger one it will take more time. But yeah, for the main part, this one that I've got, it will take roughly an hour and 50 minutes. I might put it on for longer. So what I'm going to do is get rid of the tablespoon. I'm just going to use a teaspoon and I'm just going to basically mix it all in together. And then just crush down the sugar. It's not lumpy, it's just sticking together because it's soft. It's just annoying. So you want to get everything mixed in properly and fully incorporated so that you don't have like a clump of sugar, a clump of salt or anything like that, because trust me, the last thing you want is for that unpleasant taste of something just clumped up in one area of your meat, and yeah, that's not it. It really ain't it. So yeah, mix that in. Once that's done, you can get rid of the spoon. And then you just want to get your meat. I've got on my gloves today, guys, because ain't nobody finna touch no meat. And then, yeah, I'm just trying to season the meat, discard of the gloves. Right, so I'm just gonna rub it in a bit more with my hands just to make sure it's in. I leave these tie things, by the way. What are they called? String? Yeah, that's it. I leave the strings on just to keep the meat all intact whilst it's cooking. Yeah. So yeah, you just sprinkle it on and just rub it into the meat. So all you're doing really, just getting a good coating over the meat. And just push it in. Make sure you get all of those flavours in. And then once you do this, you can just leave the meat to sit for a little while, or you can put it straight in the oven. I normally just put it straight in the oven, but it's up to the individual whether they want it to marinate for longer. On the sides as well. Make sure you coat everywhere, guys. And just massage it in. Do make sure that if you put your meat in the freezer when you come from shopping, you literally put it to defrost and leave it for a little while, because if you try to put this thing in the oven from frozen, it's going to take you a good probably like 3 hours to cook it. So just giving you that heads up so you know, like, make sure your meat is fully defrost. I do clean my meat. I know some people do, some people don't. I personally clean my meat, so what I do is I leave it to soak in vinegar and water for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then I just wash it off with the water. Well, that's clean water, by the way, not the same water, obviously. And then I go from there. Right, so that's that. So that's okay. I'm just going to take off these glues. Just get this in the bin. Wash my hands. Wash my hands, guys. Right, so I'm going to just get my ginger beer. So that's 600 ml of just normal ginger beer. Do you know what? Let me get the bottle and show you the one that I got. It's 90p. You don't have to get this one, but this is the one that I had where I was, so this is the actual one that I've got. I was using it at room temperature. I've now obviously put it in the fridge because it's open, but that's the one that I've got. You can use room temperature or cold, doesn't really matter. So I'm literally just going to pour the ginger beer in the bottom of the tray, just like so. Oh gosh, got some on the stove as well. And then get some foil paper and just cover it over. Somebody cut my foil bag. Right, so get your foil, cover over your tray. Doesn't have to be neat, just make sure your meat is covered. You need to preheat your oven on 220 degrees for about 20 minutes before you actually put your meat in, to make sure that it's nice and hot. And so all I'm going to do now is just pop this in the oven and leave it for about an hour and 10 minutes, and then after that I'm going to take off the foil, check through, and then just leave the top to just get nice and crisp. So I'll see you guys then. Alright guys, so it's been an hour and 10 like I said, and I've literally just pulled it out of the oven with the foil still on it. So as is, I've not touched it, not done anything to it, it's just been sat in the oven on 220 degrees for an hour and 10 minutes. Right, so what you see is what I see. That is just beautiful. So I'm going to put this back in the oven now without the foil for another 40 minutes, well 30 to 40 minutes depending on what I see. Let me just turn it, give it a little turn so y'all can see everything fully. And as you can see, the liquid has dissolved down quite a bit, so there you go. It there, looking good. So I'm going to put this back in the oven now, and then once it's fully ready, then I will come back and show you guys. Alright guys, so I left it on for a further 40 minutes and this is the end result. It looks absolutely beautiful and it smells amazing guys. So all I'm going to do now is literally just leave it to sit for about 20 to 30 minutes and then I'm going to cut it up and eat. So that's basically how it's done. If you have any questions or anything, as always, feel free to drop me a message or email me, hit me up on social media, however you want to go about it, that's fine. But remember, cooking times will vary from different sizes and different cuts of pork. Do check the packaging because oftentimes they do state it on the packaging how long to cook it for. And also if you're getting it from the butchers, you can always just ask your butchers roughly how much time to cook the meat for. Okay guys, so that's it. So remember, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe, turn on your notifications, and I will see you on the next one. Bye. Okay guys, so I didn't leave it yet for 30 minutes because I'm literally going to serve this for dinner. So I just wanted to show you guys what it looked like on the inside when I cut it. Literally it's been resting for about 10 minutes now. So I'm just going to show you. I'm just going to cut off a tiny bit of the in there and just show you what the inside of it is looking like, so you can see for yourself the results. So as you guys can see there, cooked perfectly. It's not too dry and yeah, it's not raw. So it's done well. So yeah, and that's all done. So obviously use the correct knives to carve your meat and do all of that fancy stuff. Yeah, so that's it really. So enjoy, guys. Hopefully you try out this recipe and have these amazing results as well. See you on the next one. Bye.